Yes, 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 y'all. This is the unbiased fan Brim Reaper. What's good, everybody? This is my first time doing this StreamYard shit, so bear with me as I maneuver and work through this. So today's topic at hand is, what do we consider a super fight? What is a super fight, y'all? Because for me, I'm an old nigga now, so I guess a super fight is considered, two guys at the top of their game with all the accolades and the titles and, the glory. That's what I thought, a super fight was. Like, in my era, you know, Hagler Hearns, Sugar Ray Leonard, Hagler, um, Tyson Holyfield, more recently, Mayweather Pacquiao. That's what we consider super fights. Am I wrong here? Because I mean, that's what I would consider a super fight. But it seems like boxing has got a little bit watered down recently, and we're calling really good to great fights super fights. So the reason why I bring this to the top of discussion, because I want to get people's viewpoint on what they feel is actually a super fight. Salute to you, Haynes Legacy. Appreciate you for sliding through. Um, so I want to know, what do you feel is a actual super fight? Give me some examples of what you feel is a super fight, and then what your criteria, that makes it a super fight for you. That's what I'm wondering. But for me, I think it's a few things. Um, Having a title, I think, plays a role in it being a super fight. Yep, Mayweather versus Pacquiao. That was one I mentioned. That probably was the uh, last super fight, even though I think the first Triple G and Canelo was pretty close, but that might be the last super fight we've had, was Mayweather and Pacquiao. But I guess that's a matter of opinion, because that first Triple G Canelo fight was definitely you know talked about. Yeah, that's Stephen Brimley. What's up, General Big Fish in the building? What's good, bruh? You know what I mean? So shout out to my man, General Big Fish, man. He's a big fish in a small pond, but a guppy in the ocean. Remember that. But so I think the criteria for me for a super fight is, accolades, titles, name recognition. Hey, you said that's the easy one. Okay, okay. True. I mean, listen, for me, I think it was a super fight, but it's not an easy one. I mean, it's all relative. I think you close to my age, Big Fish. Some older cats might not consider that a super fight. They just might say that's a really great fight. But super fights is on a different level. But I do personally, I can consider that a super fight for me. But I think a lot of people might say Mayweather and Pacquiao was a last super fight. But I think Canelo and Triple G is right there. So it's like, if it's a super fight, it's barely one, but you can consider it though. But George Foreman Ali, yeah, that's another one. That's another good one, Haynes. Yeah, we got a lot more super fights in a different era than we do now, because, this is the era of social media. As you can see, we have Tank versus Ryan Garcia, and people are calling this a super fight. This is why I kind of made this live. You know, I think Tank is a phenomenal fighter. I'm a fan of Tank, and I think Tank is going to beat Ryan. And Ryan is a talented fighter, but he has lots of fundamental flaws that I see. But people are calling this a super fight, right? And I just can't subscribe to that. That is not a super fight to me. It's a really good fight, but does anybody think it's a super fight? Hold up. I gotta stop. Because I got E Thriller, the Black Picasso, aka Go Thriller. He done pulled up on the brother. I appreciate you, man. I really do, man. This is the reason why I'm here. Is this gentleman right here, man? So y'all make sure y'all subbed up to E Thriller the Black Picasso. But I'm sure anybody that's watching me right now has already subbed up to him. But if not, make sure that you subbed up to my man E Thriller the Black Picasso because he does paint pictures so vividly. Um, just not on the Lakers though. We're gonna leave that. We're gonna leave that alone. Um, Yes, Mike, you're absolutely correct. When non-boxing fans know about the fight, it's a super fight. But that's one of the criterias. But just because non-boxing fans know about it doesn't necessarily make it a super fight. That's just one of the criterias that go into making it a super fight. Because I believe there's non-boxing fans. I believe there's non-boxing fans that know about Tank and Ryan right now. You know, now one of my gauges is my sis Diggy. Shout out to my sister Diggy. When she knows about the fight, then I'm like, okay, this might be moving something. She didn't know about Ryan and Tank. I told her about it, so that made me say, because she likes fights, but she's a casual fight fan, and those are the ones that move the needle for a fighter to the next level, though. But I'm not going to sit here and talk for 18 years. I want to get anybody who wants to join in, share their opinion, and tell me what they think a super fight is. Name off some super fights and the criteria for you to consider it a super fight. I want you to let me know. And also, do you consider Ryan Garcia versus Tank Davis a super fight right now? Oh yeah, you're correct, Mike. You just said something key. Social media makes it different nowadays. Now this is where a little bit of a gripe I have right now because Ryan and Tank is what 6.5 weeks away, 7 weeks away from the fight. They're not doing a promotional what's it, which in social media era you can get away with that. But I think it's a little bit lazy. I saw something about what Steven Espinosa saying that TikTok and they have so much of their own following they can promote the fight. And I'm thinking, as much as y'all touting this to be a super fight, you seem a little lazy about on the promotions about pushing this fight. Because last time I checked, most super fights went on city tours. They did certain things to continue to build up the fight. I have to say the presser. I think the presser is supposed to be next week. We have no presser. I don't see no advertising. I don't see anything this pushing it out there that's saying this is a super fucking fight. And shout out to I just forgot gentleman's name from New York Fights. He had made a post about this saying that this is a really good fight. It's just not a super fight. But I would love to hear if anybody disagrees and believe Ryan Garcia versus Tank Davis is actually a super fight. And we might get that argument in this social media era. And I'm going to respect your opinion and your thoughts if you believe it so, but I really want you to tell me why. But I'm going to drop the link. And if anybody wants to jump in and chime in with a brother, yeah. I mean, but yeah, hey, hold on 1 second. Mike, if we going by that, for boxing fans, we get super fights every year. So, hardcore boxing fans or heavy casuals, because there's a lot more heavy casuals than hardcore boxing fans. So we almost get a super fight a year, a fight that we all wanted. Because to me, a New Way and Fulton is a bigger fight for me than Tank and Ryan. Even though my man E Thriller told me, man, who wants that? Who gives a fuck about that? That's the fucking problem. That should be a fight that people are talking about. Just because the Nui's in Japan, does that take away from the fact that these are two accomplished fighters and a fight that has a lot of implications on the pound for pound list, a lot of implications in regards to the division. I mean, Nui's moving up to 122 to fight, the man that has half the belts in the division. That to me, that moves the needle more. And then you got who else we got? Well, we don't have Fury versus Usyk. We're gonna leave that alone because Fury on some fuck shit. The fight should have been in Dubai, but he wants to move it to Wembley for his advantage. And Usyk already signed it, his deal on the Saudi side, but now moving it to Wembley, he want him to take even less money, talking about he don't deserve 50-50. Your punk ass didn't deserve 50-50 versus Wilder, but he gave it to you. cut the shit, man. I don't think he really want to fight him though. But that's a whole nother story. So I'm gonna go ahead and drop the link. For anybody that's here rocking with me, I appreciate you guys. And if you have any opinions and viewpoints in regards to this, I want you to share. Hold on one second. Share right now. First time I ever used this StreamYards. I'm gonna have to get some tools from you veterans that know how to use this stuff. But hold on one second. I'm going to share this here for you guys if you want to jump in. And I appreciate you guys. Slow as hell, but um, yeah. So again, just continuing on that topic of super fights. What fights do you consider to have not been made that could be a super fight? You know, um, Shakur Stevenson and Tank and Shakur Stevenson and Haney, are those potential super fights? Or would they be super fights if they, got marinated a little bit and fought a little bit down the road? Just wondering. Not sure, but just wondering if that would be the case. Um, you know what's crazy? Is Joshua versus Fury a super fight? Even though they don't have the belts anymore, is that still considered a super fight? It's a fight we all want to see as boxing fans, but is it a super fight? Um, let's see what else we got. Let's see. I'm trying to think. Well, it's Crawford and Spencer super fight. Hey, now is Crawford and Spencer super fight? Or is it just a really great fight that's been over marinated? You know, it's just an interesting question. I'm not really sure, but I really do believe that the value of uh, fights in America, because I'm not going to put this on the world. I'm going to put this on America and America only for the most part. I think the criteria of greatness, the criteria of being next level has been lowered, but at the same time, the people who accomplish these feats and tasks and get certain accolades in the ring, they don't get as much love. That's why I did a video in regards to the American boxer being underappreciated, since the Floyd Mayweather era. Because I mean, hate him or love him, but the younger Charlo, he a beast in the ring. He don't get that much, get that much love. Casuals ain't. He's not getting any type of, pub about what his accomplishments are outside of just boxing circles. And then somebody else mentioned Regis Prograis. That was another great name because the three names that I had was Wilder, and that was because of his story. Um, Clarissa Shields and Terrence Crawford. That I feel like those three fighters, moved the needle after Floyd Mayweather the most, but has not gotten that next level, of support for superstardom. Because I don't think there's any American superstars in boxing currently. I don't think there's any. And I think that's what is making it tougher to have AKA super fight, because I don't think the promotional companies are doing a great enough job putting them in the position for superstardom, you know? And I think that's partly because they look at the market in a pessimistic light, in my personal opinion, because there's no reason why you have guys that's coming from overseas and having a bigger name in the United States than these fighters. Because I think Fury got a bigger name than almost all American fighters in the United States. I wouldn't say that with Lomachenko, because Lomo's, he's soft spoken. He's not like Fury, but he's respected. So I think these all intermingle and all tie in and play a role on why super fights are harder to come by in this era in regards to name recognition, promotion of the fighter, um, and then the whole issue with promotional companies working with each other unless they're forced to. Because, like, Cool Boy, I think the only reason why he's fighting Inoue is because there's no other fight that's going to be of that stature that's going to pay him that much. So thank goodness Al Heyman did his job as an advisor and advised him wisely and said, "Hey, go do that fight," because he wasn't going to get another fight that's going to pay him $3 million up front. You know, so I salute him for pushing for that fight. And I was telling people that fight was going to happen. I felt like that fight was going to happen. So, that's one of the few things that I was right on. But I'm not gonna be here for a long, long time. I see nobody jumped on. It's all good. I just appreciate everybody who slid through and is taking the time to rock with me. But I just wanted to just get an idea of what we expect from boxing. What do we think is a super fight, and what the criteria is? So, whenever anybody watches this video, drop a comment and tell me what you consider a super fight. What is the criteria of the super fight? And if you think Ryan Garcia versus Tank Davis is a super fight. Because I fucking don't. I don't. I don't fucking think it's a super fight at fucking all. And if you disagree with me, I respect it. If you're trying to bring a problem with me because I'm saying that, fuck out of here. Because I'm sorry, I just don't believe that that's the case. There's no way. I'll be on my Denzel shit if you really on some bullshit.
Now don't you get smart, nigga. Get your fucking hands off me.
Straight up. Get your fucking hands off me. But I appreciate you guys for taking a little bit of time to chop it up with me. It's the Unbiased Fan, Brim Reaper, and I'm out. One.